A recent topic in these live lessons was causation, where I described how one variable can influence another variable. In this video, we'll dig more deeply into that idea by discussing dependent and independent variables. Let's say you're running a clinical trial in a hospital. So you're providing an Alzheimer's drug to a patient, and you're trying to see whether the dosage of the Alzheimer's drug has an impact on the patient's forgetfulness. So on different days, you provide the patient with a different amount of the drug. And then you administer a test to test how forgetful the patient is after you've administered the drug. So it looks pretty clear here on the chart that the higher drug dosage corresponds to lower forgetfulness. So this is an example of a situation where we might be able to infer a causal relationship. So we provide the drug before we measure the forgetfulness, and so it seems reasonable to draw the conclusion that administering this drug reduces forgetfulness, and the more drug we provide, the less forgetful the patient is. It seems like we can draw a causal relationship that drug dosage reduces forgetfulness. It doesn't seem intuitively correct to imagine that it could possibly be the other way around, where somehow because a patient is more forgetful on a given day, we provide the drug dosage. I mean, I guess there could be a circumstance where that happens, where, oh, wow, the patient's really forgetful today, we provide the drug dosage. But that isn't what happened. That isn't what happened in the clinical trial. We know that we gave the patient the drug first, and then we tested their forgetfulness. So there's this causal relationship from drug dosage to forgetfulness. So we can call drug dosage the independent variable. It's not dependent on the other variable. It's independent. Whereas this variable, forgetfulness, is dependent on drug dosage. So we have an independent variable and a dependent variable. Let's talk about this in a bit more detail. So when we're designing a statistical or a machine learning model, we often have an outcome in the model. And that outcome is the dependent variable. So in this case, the forgetfulness. And it's typically denoted with y, with the variable name y. And often we put this on the vertical axis of a Cartesian plane. So this is a Cartesian plane. It's just a two-dimensional plot. So the x-axis is the horizontal axis, and the vertical axis is the y-axis. And so it's the convention to put the outcome, the dependent variable, on this y-axis, so forgetfulness in this case. A feature in a model, on the other hand, this is a particularly common term in machine learning, is the independent variable. Or you might even have multiple independent variables, multiple features predicting your outcome. For now, let's just talk about having one independent variable. In this case, drug dosage. So this feature, this independent variable, may predict the outcome. So we have some reasonable hypothesis as to how, say, drug dosage, a feature, an independent variable, could influence, could predict the outcome. And then we can put our variables, our feature and our outcome into a model. It could be a statistical model or a machine learning model. And then we can formally assess whether there appears to be a statistically significant relationship suggesting that one variable does, in fact, predict the other. Typically, we denote the drug dosage with x, and we put it on the horizontal axis of a Cartesian plane. In an ideal scenario, we can actually explicitly adjust the feature, the independent variable, so not only just measure it, and the advantage of being able to control and adjust the independent variable, the feature ourselves, is that this gives us a stronger argument that it's causal for the changes in the dependent variable. So if all we can do is measure these two variables, then it leaves open the door the possibility that some third variable is actually causing the change in both variables that we're measuring. That was something we talked about already when we talked about causation. Okay, so now with this understanding of what independent and dependent variables are, In the next video, we'll build upon this understanding to start talking about regression models, which are a potent, powerful way of modeling the impact of one or more features, one or more independent variables on an outcome.